Good morning. I have some time that I'm just sitting here because my car wouldn't start, even though it's going to be really early for work. Now I'm waiting for my husband to get here and be my knight in shining armor and help me get my car started. So hopefully it's just a battery thing. But anyway, meanwhile, I thought, well, I'd love to just take some time to share this picture that I was reminded of that I had a couple years ago, and it just replayed through my mind 2 days ago, and so I just rewrote it down and hope it will encourage you. It definitely encouraged me for some things that I've been waiting for and praying into and so on, and haven't really seen the results yet. So anyway, waiting is not my best character quality, but I'm learning. So anyway, this was a picture that I had of where I was standing in this field, and actually Jesus was standing there with me, and he was just showing me this really like dark soil, and it was a pretty huge field, and he seemed really proud of it. And for me, I was trying to figure out what was the big deal, because it was just dark, clumpy soil, and I couldn't see any life. I couldn't see anything growing, and he just was like looking at me, smiling, and he could probably see the confusion, or the maybe even a little bit of disappointment, or like, what's the big deal in my face. And so he smiled at me, and he just said, watch what I'm gonna do. And he began to blow out over the soil, and I could just see him going from like the left to the right of the field, and just breathing out over it. And as he did, I realized I could see all of a sudden these little shoots of green coming up out of the soil, and it was just everywhere, just taking off. And I just remember I must have had my eyes like super big, like, what? Wow. And what looked like the bleakest, most barren field, actually underneath had seeds that were already taking root, and they were already starting to grow, and now they were just popping through the soil, and they were already alive. And I really just, in that moment, felt like the Lord just saying, everything you do, everything you say, every encounter that you have with a person, you have opportunity to plant a seed of life. And sometimes, though, we want to, we're just that instant microwave society. We want to see the fruit quickly. We want to see the results. And if we don't, we get kind of discouraged, or maybe we give up, or whatever. And he was just saying, you are just called to plant the seeds. You are called to speak words of life. You are called to encourage and to love, and that's it. And then you leave the rest to me. And as we partner with him, he's the one that then breathes over those things and actually brings them to life. And that's not our responsibility. And really only he can do that, because he is the source of life, and he is love. And so I was just really, really encouraged that what looked barren to me, and what looked bleak, and what looked absolutely lifeless, actually already had growth happening, and it already had life underneath the surface. And so I know that in my own life, there's some things that I've been really praying for. There's some things that some people I've been speaking into and sharing with and encouraging. And sometimes it still looks as if they're, the same thing. It's still happening, and I'm not seeing a lot of change, or I'm not seeing a lot of hope in this. And I had to just remember, I'm just called to do what I'm doing. And it reminded me of what our pastor was sharing a couple of weeks ago about, that he is the vine and we are the branches. And apart from him, we can do nothing. And he is the source of life, and we can't try and be the vine, and we can't even be focused and worried about the fruit. We are called to just be that vessel and stay abiding and remaining in him and allowing him to work through us. And other than that, he's the one who's in charge, and he's the one that he is our hope, and he is all that we need, and that's the same for everybody. So I hope that this encourages your heart for those things that you've been hanging out for and praying into. And I want to just say, we're all seed planters, and we all have our field. We all have a field that the Lord, like a sphere of influence that the Lord puts us into. And so I want to encourage you, keep planting those seeds, keep speaking those words of life, keep loving and encouraging, and then just wait and watch and see what the Lord does, and see the life that the Lord brings as he breathes over those seeds. So I hope this brings a little bit of life to you. And I just bless you with that. And I hope you have a really great day. Thanks.